What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my good friend over there, he's over there, Brian, discuss comic books that have been adapted into movies and streaming shows. Well, the time has finally come. Spoilers abound for Ironheart. We finally got a character that people have been talking about since WandaVision, didn't we, Brian?
Yes. So that was what year was that? Was that 2020, 2021,
Maybe
2019?
like 2021. Yeah, well, because it's like post COVID, right? We're all stuck indoors, and they knock out Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. This is great content. 2021.
Hmm.
Yeah, January 2021. Okay.
There you go. So, yeah, you want to drop who the character is, even though the show like was done like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, the show was finished about 2 weeks ago, but in the sixth episode, we finally got the reveal of Mephisto in the MCU, played by Sacha
Yes.
Baron Cohen. And you know what? I think we started off. We reviewed the first three, and I think I said that I didn't. I was iffy on it, but the third one was kind of better, and it was kind of winning me over.
Yeah.
I kind of think the show won me over.
Yes. Brian, I feel the exact same way because I'm sitting here talking about Mephisto because it's kind of like the most exciting part. But then I'm like, is it the best part of the show? I actually think it's not. I think that Riri's situation and her relationship with Natalie is the best part of the show.
Yeah, they really built on that relationship well, and they took what I liked about it and they expanded on it. And I
Hmm.
think that ultimately what we got was intriguing, and I am very curious to see what happens next. And
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm hearing mixed. I mean, I know it didn't like the streaming statistics on fire, but and it probably was expensive, I guess. But
Mm.
I'm hearing rumors that it may not come back. So I don't
Mm.
know. I don't know.
I feel like everything with Disney right now is kind of in flux, and that they sort of are waiting to see how Doomsday performs.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
I
you
mean,
know,
well, I guess they're really trying to see how Fantastic Four performs.
yeah, I hope that does well.
Yeah.
They do need that, but it's like I really hope that this doesn't become one of those things that they never pick up on, or it becomes a footnote, sort of, you know.
Yeah. Well,
So
let's go into that for a second, right? Because we're in what phase five now, I think, right? Like phase six is after
uh,
Doomsday.
I I think this was the end of Phase 5, actually.
Oh,
No,
okay.
is it?
All right. Oh boy, here comes those two reliable podcast hosts.
Yes, this was the end of Phase 5. Ironheart is the end of Phase 5.
Oh, okay, okay, that's interesting. It's always like someone that's connected to Tony Stark and like his legacy, right? Because we had stuff from Spider Man with Peter Parker, and then we have
Yeah,
Riri.
that closed
Yeah,
out Phase 3. I don't remember what closed out Phase 4. Was that Black Widow? I don't know.
I think Phase Four. Yeah, with Black Widow.
Began with Black Widow. Okay.
Do you think that maybe we could do like a whole half hour of us just being like, was
Maybe
that this phase? Was that this movie? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Regardless, though, what we can talk about is that there's so many different plot threads that they've started up post Endgame, where it just feels like we're not getting any kind of resolution. It's not going to have any relevance to what this whole saga is going to be. You know?
Yeah, I keep really thinking of in terms of that. I keep really thinking about Blade lately because I keep getting information that the costumes from uh, that were used in Sinners were made for Blade, and I don't know how true that is, but
Yeah.
like I just keep thinking about that movie that we have, which first of all is a really weird connection. At the end of Eternals, we hear Blade speaking to Black Knight. And he said something about the Ebony Blade. I don't remember what he said, but it's just like, oh yeah, and then Blade got pushed back like twice, and now it's like shelved, and what began as a weird connection has just become nothing, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much to it. Like, because you're talking about Eternals, there's like threads just from that movie, like with those characters, not even like Blade or like characters that are supposed to show up. There's, with Eternals, they take the main girl, Cersei, and the Celestials like kidnap her, and they're gonna judge her. Then you have these other Eternals that go off with like Pip the Troll, who's voiced by Patton Oswalt,
Oh,
right?
don't
And
forget Harry Styles.
right. So it's like there's so much going on there, but I just don't think we're ever gonna get anything Eternal again.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think it's a miracle they even mentioned it in Brave New World.
right, exactly. Yeah, right. The celestial that's like in the ocean or whatever. But besides that, like it feels like Shang-Chi was a decade ago, but that was probably like 2022 or so.
Yeah, it does feel ancient at this point. Yes, I agree.
But you know what's so bizarre? I mean, this is kind of the world that we live in now, right? Is that 2022 is only 3 years ago. And for the most part, like when we're growing up, whenever there was a sequel to a movie, it would just be like 3 years between movie and sequel. Sometimes it'd be longer, you know.
Yeah. Um,
But
I
yeah, go ahead.
think too. I was, at a younger age, like you kind of like less aware of it, of that
Yeah,
instance.
right.
Um, I don't know. I feel like, and especially now with the shows too, with TV shows, all these streaming shows and especially the higher caliber ones, they take so long in between now. Where
Yeah,
growing up, there was a new season every fall, or whatever season it debuted in. Like a year later, there was a new season,
yeah,
but that doesn't really happen anymore.
yeah. But it's so weird because like there's just so much stuff coming out, and like what you're saying, that there's always talk about what's coming up, what's in the pipeline, and like what has happened. There's so much speculation about things, but like it hasn't been that many years, but it just feels like it's been so fucking long since Endgame. And I think like also what's happened in real life. There's been so much stuff since then too.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we should probably bring it back to what do you call Ironheart? So, like in the fourth episode, it's basically the fallout from the heist where the Hood's friend, who's like his lifelong friend, dies. Right, and Riri kind of set that up. She could have maybe saved him, but she didn't. And she's just like going through this crazy stress about like what happened. And at one point, Natalie, in desperation to help her, goes and gets her brother, Natalie's brother, and brings him to talk to Riri. And I really liked the way that he responded to seeing the AI of Natalie. What did you think about
Yeah,
that whole sequence?
I agree there. I was it was shocking to see, and I think being presented with a similar situation, which I guess is impossible, but I would be equally. I think that was a very natural reaction, and it kind of goes along with, I don't remember what character. It probably even was the brother that calls Riri selfish, and it kind of is.
Mm,
It kind of goes along with that her origin here is that she is kind of selfish, and even the ending scene confirms that really in a way. But I like the reaction. I like the pressure it puts on her, and I like the little rift it drives between Riri and the Natalie AI.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like it's cool because I think everyone's excited to see Natalie, and it's amazing that she's made this advanced AI. But the brother's like, this is wrong, and it's just like she's not expecting it, and it's great because it's this sort of scenario where you think this is going to help her. She's having panic attacks, and it's like, no, this actually makes it even worse, and she hits rock bottom. Um, she then I think by episode 5 gets jumped by the group that was working for the Hood, and I think that's one of the reasons why episodes 4, 5, and 6 are better than episodes 1, 2, and 3 because we really don't focus on them that much in these other half of the season. You
Yeah,
know?
they kind of do this one last little attack, and then they kind of quit, and they're not seen again.
Yeah. And I
Um,
like. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I like how she takes them out because she doesn't have her suit at that point, and so she has to be like MacGyver to take out this group of attackers, and it's very reminiscent of like the way Tony is for most of Iron Man 3.
Yes, yeah, I did like those similarities there. I also thought it was funny it was in a White Castle. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes,
Oh man.
sometimes the really cheesy, like made up fake stores are like less uh less noticeable. You know, it's like it seems weirder when it's like, oh, this is in a White Castle, a place that I've been in before. You know?
Yes. Yes, and a place that I miss dearly, living in Texas and no longer in
No
the New
White
York
Castle.
area. They have the burgers like you get them at the grocery store frozen, but
Oh
there's no
no,
White Castle
that's
restaurants.
that's not the same.
Yeah, yeah. Believe me, there's many other reasons to not live in Texas too, but that is one of them.
Yeah.
So, uh, she takes out that group, and I did like it because that group, that was one of the parts of the show that felt so kind of artificial, or it was sort of like pandering, and we don't really get a lot of that, and we just get like straight emotional, strong stuff. And it's funny because I forgot that Ryan Coogler is one of the executive producers on the show, and I think that I mean I have never seen Creed or any of its sequels, but I love Black Panther. I love Wakanda Forever as well, and then I really really love Sinners.
Yeah.
So I felt like episodes 4, 5, and 6 were kind of more similar to his stuff.
Yeah, I always question though when someone's an executive producer, like how much they actually did, and how much of
Yeah,
it's like, hey, they were involved in the movie that this character debuted in, so we're gonna give them a name. Like I keep thinking about that with, especially with Thunderbolts and Scarlett Johansson, how she actually
mm,
had to have her name removed from it because she did
yeah,
nothing for it. Which I'm like, okay, like that's. I mean, like I'm like, do you think it's gonna flop, or do you just feel bad, sort of in a way, you know?
right, right, right. No, I get it. Like some people just kind of attach their name to it. Maybe financially they help out in some kind of way, but then that's the only influence they have.
Yeah.
Um, I think in that fifth episode, there is a sequence where Riri's trying to like destroy the piece of the Hood's cloak that she had,
Yeah.
and I think that might be the only thing that really bothered me out of these episodes because to me, it's like a nitpick, but it's one of those things that kind of takes you out of it because she was able to cut the cloak to get that piece, but then she couldn't destroy the cloak.
Yeah.
That has bothered
Yeah,
me.
it was a little too easy to get the cloak off, especially without him noticing it, which I found very suspect. But yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't really think about it like that since you brought it up, but that does kind of make sense there. But I think that's kind of a minor nitpick there. But I more so think that one of the issues I have with the show is that how quickly everything gets done. You know,
yeah,
like she's like suddenly at Ezekiel Stain's like lab, and she can get in and no problems. I know they show her like hacking the door or whatever she does. I don't remember, but
yeah.
she like builds all this stuff like super fast, and then Ezekiel himself, like they break him out of prison, build some crazy machine, and then turn him into the Superman 3 lady in like 20 minutes.
It's like, oh my god, I didn't even think Superman 3 lady. Yeah, yeah. Not as terrifying as the Superman 3 lady.
No. But it reminded me of that in a way. Like whatever his
Yeah,
power he has, he's like shooting lightning bolts now and whatever. It reminded me
yeah,
of Superman 3 lady.
right.
Speaking of Ezekiel too, I the turn of him was like a breakneck pace.
Mm,
He
mm,
he comes off initially so timid and all that, like he's crying in the car and they're singing Alanis Morissette and all that, and then suddenly, and rightfully so, he's pissed at what happened. He's like, don't get me caught up in this. And she loses the tech in the heist, and they link it to him, and he goes to
right.
jail. Rightfully so, he's pissed, but it's all that happened so fast.
Mm,
And I don't necessarily think it would have been better had it been drawn out over a longer number of episodes or something like that. But
right.
it felt weird, and that's a one minor nitpicky complaint I had about the show is that the things they get done happen in an extraordinarily short period of time.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so one of the things that you point out that I really like is that if they stretched it out, it wouldn't necessarily be better, and I think that applies to the whole show. I think one of
Yeah,
the things I was very grateful for was that the show was 6 episodes, and it was just essentially like 2 weeks. We knocked them out like right
yeah.
away.
It
First,
didn't
good.
outside of those first two episodes. It didn't feel very wasteful. I don't think. So I think it was kind
No,
of the point. I think it was a good use of the time.
right, and you make a really great point where you're saying like it's so fast how he becomes this sort of like cybernetic villain, after they get him out of prison. And it's funny because like the tech they use on him is so advanced. Like they seemed kind of like a group of like criminals that had sort of advanced technology. They had a knowledge of how to like hack things, but that's it. And Riri was the one that brought like an Iron Man suit. But then all of a sudden you have this like machine that's like it's like Arnold's the machine that Arnold goes into in Total Recall when
Yeah,
he's gonna have like the memory implants. But then there's like fucking like Matrix robots like zapping him in the face too at the same time. So it's a bit much.
yeah,
But like I don't think that his like he's like this sort of bloodthirsty villain when he goes through that whole process. He is still kind of timid and he's angry, but like when he goes after that woman, like I think that if he was sort of more bloodthirsty or if they like kicked it up the next level, he would just fucking like shot a hole through that woman with electricity, his neighbor that he
yeah.
hated so much.
Which you did see afterwards, after the transformation. Yes. Yeah, I don't quite fully see him as like full on villain here, but I do like that there is kind of like a little beef between him and Riri because of what happened here. And I ultimately, while I do think it happened very quickly, I find it believable and I liked it, and I'm happy that this show set up like three pretty decent villains,
Yep. Yep.
which is something
Yeah.
that most of these shows don't do. And if anything, they end them permanently with no chance of getting back in most cases.
Yes, really, really excellent point. They make some real lukewarm villains in a lot of these shows where you kind of just don't care. Um, and then, like, even in some of the movies now, the villains. I mean, there's always been talk about Marvel villains not being that great, but there hasn't been super compelling villains in these last two phases that often. Um, I actually really did like that the Hood and Ezekiel Stane like teamed up, and that the Hood kind of used Riri's mess up to inspire Ezekiel. But then also there's the idea that like the Hood could control the cybernetics within Ezekiel's body, so like he kind of would force him to do things. So
Yeah,
it,
that was a little hokey, I guess. I mean, they did show it, like they showed him change the admin name, which was like, I mean, it's kind of cheesy when you say it out loud, but it gets the point across well enough. Again, it's streamlined, but I was okay with
right,
it. I
right.
give
No, no,
credit
no.
for just changing a name as the admin.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. I can control your body now with my words just because we
Yeah.
changed the username. And yeah, yeah. No, no, yeah. You're right. You're right. Um, no, but I was actually really excited by the point when they teamed up. Like I liked that the Hood went into the prison and he was invisible, and they're talking in the cell. And there's also this great line because one of the things I said last time was Parker. Um, he has this like mellow reaction to things where villains would typically scream or like become more dramatic or do something violent. He is like laid back when things would upset him. And there's this great part where he's talking to Ezekiel Stane, and he says to Ezekiel Ezekiel Stane's like, oh, I just lost my house, I lost my name, all this stuff, I've lost everything. And then Parker says, I'm so excited for you, or that's so exciting because you basically can like do what you want now. And I just really like that moment.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely different, and it's unexpected too, being that you're essentially powered by the devil. You know?
Right, 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 right. Well, okay, so why don't we talk about that, right? Because we still have
Well,
to cover revival too.
well,
Go ahead, go ahead.
before, I think we should. We completely skipped over the all the magic stuff that came about in episode 4, and I think that's
Oh
important to
yeah.
get into before we get into the final stuff with Mephisto.
No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. Good. I'm so glad that you fucking, dude. I totally forgot about all that. Yeah. All right. So tell me about how they throw. the good guy magic side into the story.
Okay, so essentially, uh, at the end of the third episode, Riri's at a low point. She's having panic attacks. She doesn't have Natalie. She goes to talk to her mom. Her mom's like, "You need to go talk to my friend, who saw her in the first or second episode." I don't remember the character's name, but I know the actress is Cree Summer because I recognize that voice anywhere. And she runs a sweet shop and mystical shop, which is an odd combination. But she
right?
is it her daughter?
Yes, it is.
Okay, her daughter and oh my God, her name starts with a Z. It's not Zelda. It's
oh fuck. Shit. Zelma. Yeah, Zelma Staunton, right?
Zelma Stanton or Staunton. I don't remember how
it's
pronounced. And they basically she just kind of waves her hand, and they're off in some other little magical workshop there. And that's where we analyze the piece of the cape and figure out it's some bad shit.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is Stanton. I just looked up her name. So we had this little interaction through Messenger where, like, I was saying that it's real easy for people to confuse if you're in the comics, Zelma Stanton with God damn, I forgot her fucking name. Darcy, right. From like she's originally from the Thor movie, but then like she's gotten into the comics as well, and then she was in like a couple episodes of the most recent awful season of What If, and I think she was in the awful second season of What If. But like those two characters, they both kind of have like thick. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And WandaVision.
Right, WandaVision too. Like so, they've kind of used her a bit. They both have like thick black rimmed glasses. They both kind of have these like caps on their head. So you could think either character's the same. In the MCU, however, like one is like an African American actress, or she appears African American. I don't. She might be from another country or something. But and then the other one is the fucking two broke girls or whatever, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings. Yes.
Yeah. So I actually like both characters, and I'm sorry for talking too much, but like one of them is like Doctor Strange's assistant for a little period of time. That's Zelma, and then Darcy becomes Wanda's assistant in a shop in the comics as well.
Yeah, the Steve Orlando solo Scarlet Witch title, right? Yeah,
which is really good. Yes.
Yeah, I read the first like 5 or 6 of that, and I guess I stopped. I don't remember why.
Right.
Maybe this is when I stopped buying books weekly.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to use my Marvel Unlimited, I definitely recommend it. And the artwork is so fucking good. But I was worried because I do like Zelma in the I like both Zelma and Darcy in the comics. And I was like, oh, she's in this show now. Is this going to be lame? But I thought she was good. What did you think of her portrayal in this show?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I like what they brought to it. I wish they would have explained a little more what they were doing, I guess.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what she does is she helps them identify that this the hood is really high level evil stuff that they shouldn't be messing with, and then they recruit her to kind of give Riri a magical edge in a fight against a magic villain. So I guess they like take some essence of Dormammu and put it in the armor somehow. I don't know what they were doing with that. I don't think they explained that well enough.
I 1000% agree. They don't say like you're going to use this force, which is going to destroy this. Like there's nothing like that. They're just like we're going to charge it with magic. You're like, okay, I guess maybe she'll like have magical blasts or something, right?
Yeah, and how it's used too is also just not explained. It's just sort of happens. It's like at one point she's just shooting out magic circles and doing something with them.
Right.
There's a little bit more explanation on what was going on there, but ultimately the whole scene where they're building the armor and you get more of the reveal of the scenes where Natalie and Gary get shot in the shooting, and how it comes together with them using that car and to build the armor. Although also like how are they using car parts to make this like crazy armor thing doesn't make sense, I guess. But and I'm not even looking at it like how could she do that? It's like I'm like, how is that useful? Like, how is
Right.
Hearts high caliber enough to do that? But whatever. I enjoyed the thematic coming together of all these characters, including the brother, to help build this suit to go fight the Hood.
Yeah. And I mean, like, ultimately, we're not going to judge. I mean, if I just look over your shoulder, Brian, there's about 200 characters that have car parts connected to their advanced alien technology, right? Back there.
Okay, I'm gonna get deep into this now.
Oh, no. Oh,
I
no.
always think about this. There's the episode Starscream's Brigade. It's when the first appearance of the Combaticons in Generation One. So
Okay.
so all the Transformers, with the exception of the Dinobots in the cartoon, are made or created on Cybertron. Dinobots get made on Earth. I mean, maybe they use something from the ship. I don't know, but the Combaticons are literally World War II vehicles found on some island, and they put in personality chips, and suddenly they're this giant, incredible combiner that destroys shit.
Right.
So they're worn down old World War II vehicles that are
Right.
40, 50 years old at the time,
Yeah.
and that's equal to whatever crazy space metal is on Cybertron.
No, it's no, yeah. As you guys can tell, what's that?
So back to Ironheart, car parts and magic.
Yes. So, I mean, okay, doesn't matter. We just love this shit. We love seeing people in like these suits or like robots. And there is this battle between, the Hood and Riri in her suit. She is able to do like one of those big Doctor Strange sort of pentagram things, and it looks like she's able to like rip the fucking cloak off of him.
Yeah,
Right?
she does that. We also shouldn't skip over that she does fight Ezekiel. Not Ezekiel. Yes, Ezekiel.
Yeah. Ezekiel Stain, yeah.
Yeah, beforehand, because he's kind of controlled to do so. And I thought it was kind of funny that they needed to knee him in the balls to override the admin command. Again,
right.
I'm laughing, but I didn't mind it at all. Like, I really didn't. I liked the conversation they had. I liked that it's like they worked together to get around this, but they said, like, we're not done here. Like, I really, really felt it and enjoyed it. Their interaction. I love the relationship there. And I can't wait to see. I hope I see more of it. Now we can talk about the fight with the Hood, where the magic circles come out and he's suddenly Morbius. And
you stole my fucking joke. I was about to be like, he turned into Morbius. No, it's okay. But it is. He is like Morbius when he's trying to like bite her face off. And it's intense, but she is able to rip the cloak off of him. And then when he's defeated, she comes in contact with Mephisto, played by Sacha Baron Cohen. Now, the episode is kind of bookended with Mephisto because he interacts with Riri at the end. At the very beginning, we kind of have this like prologue scene where Parker gets saved from like getting caught by the cops. He goes through this door in this alleyway, and then the door disappears. Then he's in this pizza restaurant, and Sacha Baron Cohen is there. I think with this kind of cameo, it could go on a little too long. It could kind of overstay its welcome. They could make it seem like it's more exciting than it actually is. But I think that it was done just right, in my opinion. How do you feel?
Yeah. As much as I ultimately don't like the outcome or the circumstances around it, it gave me vibes of Brand New Day.
Yeah.
It's a classic deal with the devil sort of thing here, but I like the portrayal. I actually think this is a pretty good choice. I know he's a kind of divisive actor, I guess. I've heard he's hard to work with sometimes, or I don't know. But I thought he did a good job, played the character well, and ultimately it gave us an interesting choice.
Absolutely.
When they fused the magic into the armor, something happened to the Natalie AI. Riri wasn't able to recreate it. The process she did the first time which was failing, and nobody knows why. It wasn't explained. And ultimately, she's like, Mephisto was like, I can give you what you want. Like, what do you want? And again, I said earlier that this has been about Riri being selfish in a way. It's a part of her character, and I love that they brought back the what does she want to do? Why is she making an armor? Because she wants to do something iconic, and Mephisto brings that back and says it to her. He's like, I can do this. I can make this happen. Much in a very similar fashion that he made he made Parker disgusting, filthy, disgusting rich, or whatever it was, or oily, greasy rich, whatever it was.
Right.
I like that he uses the words to do what he wants. Doesn't really say what he's taking. Something you won't miss.
Yes.
The ambiguity of the general deal with the devil was great. And ultimately, we're left with Riri back in her garage, and Natalie is there. She asks her to do some AI shit, and she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And it's actually Natalie there.
Yes.
Great cliffhanger. Really won me over with that particular thing there. That choice to do, and then ending it was great. Really left me wanting more. I really hope we do get more.
Exactly. I think one of the most frustrating things about Marvel, maybe in general, but certainly post Endgame, is that they'll allude to something or they'll start to build something up, and you're like, oh my god, they could do so much exciting stuff with this. Like the fact that she has those markings on her arm at the very end, like it's the last shot of the show is her like hugging Natalie, and then she has the markings on her arm that Parker had. You didn't notice that?
I don't think I noticed that.
Oh, okay. So I mean, like, she touches Natalie, and she's not an AI, so it's like, oh, okay, she definitely made that deal with Mephisto. Then she hugs her, and then like the markings grow up her arm, and I'm like, okay, this is great because they're ending a show where the hero made a selfish choice. It wasn't like she had her cake and ate it too. It wasn't like she somehow was able to get Natalie back and also not sell her soul. It's like she sold her soul, right? So I love that it's straightforward like that. There's so much you could do because then you can, if Riri gets brought onto the champions and there's all these other teen heroes, and then there is some kind of thing with like hellish kind of forces or Mephisto, then you got this great scenario where she has this like connection, like she has to kind of work on the side of Mephisto because of the deal that she's made. I think that's like great, exciting stuff you can work with. Will that even happen? Probably fucking not, But what I was going to say is that for the scene with Sacha Baron Cohen, what I really liked and what I felt like they kind of like, they allow Sacha Baron Cohen to kind of shine through when they talk about Dormammu, and he says something like real smug where he's like, "Oh, Dormammu, he couldn't even like clean my arsehole," or something like that. He says that. Fucking love that. Yeah. And I was worried too because I know there were rumors that he was just going to be an embodiment of Dormammu, and I was like, oh, thank God he's Mephisto, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the part where he goes to say his name. She's like, well, what's your name? And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be like Star Trek Into Darkness, where Benedict Cumberbatch is like, I am Khan, right? And I was getting worried. But when he says Mephisto, what really makes it work is the look on his face. Because he's not like, ooh, I'm Mephisto, or like, look, my eyes are red. It's almost like a stone cold killer, like, I'm Mephisto. And I think that's much better,
I totally agree there. I also agree with, the avenues this choice, the show choice makes. Again, I don't know how they resolve it or where they resolve it. I don't know if it makes sense to do it in Champions, if it makes sense to do it in what I keep hearing is a rumored Midnight Suns. But I mean, maybe that was all contingent on Blade coming out. I don't know. But I hope they figure something out and resolve it in some satisfying fashion. I would like it to be a season 2. We really didn't resolve anything with any of the villains here. Ezekiel still has issues that he wants to resolve. The end credit scene is Parker walking into the sweet shop, the magic shop, and obviously Mephisto's still out there.
Yeah.
I also love how they didn't show her making the choice.
Right. Right.
They gave us that reveal, like I explained before, and I think that was a really good way to do it.
Right. Yeah, back in the day, like you were saying at the beginning of this recording, you would have like a TV show and then it would go off the air for a little while, then the next season would be like within the next year. A lot of times shows would get better by the second season. There's of course like that sophomore slump where a show is not as good in the second season as it was in the first. But a lot of shows, as they get to that second and third season, they like learn from what their mistakes and like they learn what works and they just get better. And I feel like this model, this Disney Plus model, doesn't necessarily allow for that kind of growth. Like this is the kind of show where there is a basis. I mentioned this in the last episode where it's like, is there something there that makes you interested or want to keep going back? And this show has that. It's just I don't think they're gonna go any further with it.
I don't think that.
Yeah.
So I didn't come prepared here with like a ranking where to insert this
here. Yeah.
But I'm trying to pull up my list of crap here. Just where I would. Man, when was the last time we reviewed a show?
Last show that we did. What the fuck? Andor.
No. But it would have been just a Marvel show.
Last Marvel show was Agatha All Along.
Agatha.
There was What If season 3, was it?
I don't think I wrote it down when Agatha was out. So I wow.
Wait, is there fucking 3 seasons of What If or just 2?
3.
My God.
We only reviewed one of the seasons, I think.
Yeah. Season 2 had like the Native American girl that they introduced. Yeah. Okay. God, that show is so lame. And then the guy who fucking is the showrunner for that show is, he's going to be the showrunner for X-Men show.
X-Men season 2, yeah. I don't have, man, my last MCU Disney Plus show list was from July of 2022. I haven't written anything down since then. But I honestly, I would put this show up there pretty high, I think. I mean, it's not the level of X-Men 97, but, this might be a top 3 or 4.
Yep.
Sort of.
Yeah, Brian, I actually completely agree with you because, like, I think of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think I liked it a lot, but I think that this is much tighter and just it like makes more sense, and the ending is much more satisfying than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. WandaVision is pretty high up there on my list. Obviously, X-Men 97 is the first one. It just kicks She-Hulk's ass, kicks Moon Knight's ass. Ms. Marvel was kind of hit or miss, and it definitely like petered off towards the end. This just got better as it went on.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's up there for me. I mean, I liked Hawkeye a lot. I like WandaVision a lot.
Yeah.
I like Loki a lot.
Oh yeah, Loki, right.
And yeah, I think this sits up with those on there, which is very surprising to me. I wouldn't have expected that.
Nice, man. Well, it's too bad because I think we both like the show, and we would rank it high. This is probably the end of it though, and maybe even the last time we see this character. But we got Fantastic Four coming out in like 2 weeks, I think. And Brian and I are also going to see Superman this weekend, so we got that to talk about as well.
Yes. When are you seeing Superman? Tonight?
In like 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, but anyway, if you like to listen to me and Brian try to remember a show or a character, then you can always subscribe to our channel. And we can always appreciate the comments and the likes, so bring those on as well. And we'll be back next week to talk about, we're going to do Superman, and we're covering Revival. So we got more comic book adaptations coming your way. We'll see you guys real soon.